I am Sean Venable, your wealth mindset motivator. And for the month of March, let's say Women's Month, I have here with me my amazing sister and friend, Kristen Pate, the purpose pusher herself. So for the month of March, I wanted to feature amazing and brilliant women that I am surrounded by as they talk about generational wealth, legacy, and making an impact in this world. And so, Kristen, thank you so much. Thank you for joining this session today and empowering and pouring into women who are on the rise, who are truly making an impact, who are truly not only leaving a legacy, but living a legacy in this earth realm. So I gave a little bit of a preview, but Kristen, can you please introduce yourself by way of who you are, what you do, and how you add value? Let's go.
Absolutely. Well, first of all, thank you, Sean, for the invitation. I'm so excited to be here. I absolutely love you and was over the moon when I got the invite. But hello, everyone who's tuning in. I am Kristen Pate. I am also known as Kris the Purpose Pusher. And I am the tech savvy business and personal development coach. I help new and aspiring women solopreneurs birth, build, and launch their God inspired business with boldness and confidence. So that's what I do by purpose. I like to say that's what I do by purpose. That's my business, that's my ministry, that's my mission. But I am a 9 to 5er as well. So by day, I am a certified educator and I am director of instructional technology at a school here in New Orleans across 3 campuses, pre-K through 12th grade. I manage technology for over 1,400 students and over 300 staff members. So I'm a pretty busy lady and pretty high in demand at times, but I love what I do. I'm passionate about what I do on both fronts, and I'm so excited to be sharing with you all on today.
Man, listen, 9 to 5er, a whole coach, whole author. We'll get into that later. Where
Yes.
did you get that name from, the pusher? I don't personally know why, but I would love for the audience to know how that name came about.
Okay, so when I decided to step into coaching as an entrepreneurial endeavor, and I say that specifically because when I was in the classroom full time, I was coaching and mentoring teachers. That's what I got my master's in education in, and it's basically teacher leadership. So developing teachers in the classroom space. And so when I finally started to take coaching, when I finally figured out what coaching was outside of that arena, and I started to take it more seriously with the prompting of a friend, there's always usually some destiny helper out there that kind of like nudges you towards the thing that God has called you to do. I started thinking about, what do I want to be known for? What do I want to be known for? And I thought about in the Bible, when people's name change in the Bible, it was super significant. And so I was like, I don't want to just be Kristen Pate. I want people to call me something so that every time they're speaking to me, they're speaking into me. And
Mm.
so it's kind of like when God changed Abram's name to Abraham to make him father of many nations. So every time somebody said that, they were calling him father of many nations. And so I thought about that and I said, what do I want people to call me or think of every time they think of me? What do I want to be synonymous with? And so I started thinking, and I started thinking about my journey and really I'm really connected with my purpose in a real deep and intimate way. And I really wanted to make sure that others could feel what I feel and the joy that I feel when I'm operating in my gift. And so I said, I think I want to be a purpose pusher. I think I want to push purpose. I want to push people into their purpose. So that's kind of how Purpose Pusher came about, and it sounded good with my name. Everybody calls me Kris, even though my name is Kristen. Everybody calls me Kris. So if it felt right to be Kris, the Purpose Pusher. So that's kind of how it happened.
You definitely push people into their purpose and you definitely do it on purpose. I love, and I can say this firsthand, your intentionality. You are so intentional about what you do. You're so intentional about what you share and the way that you share it and how you make it relatable. Um, One of the things that I love about you is that you just show up. You're authentically you. I have seen you operate in Clubhouse, and then you get on Instagram and you're like, listen, this is real life. This is what I have on. This is what I look like. But guess what? I'm not concerned about all of that. What I'm concerned about is the purpose that's attached to you and me showing up. So therefore you can show up. And I love that. Kris, can you talk to us a little bit more about your journey, your evolution of stepping into the coaching space? My question to you is like, is there one pivotal moment or aha moment that stood out where you're like, you know what, I'm about to be pushed into my own purpose, into my destiny to leave a legacy in this earth?
Yeah, so that's interesting because again, I was coaching I always view coaching in itself as something that happened either on the athletes had, coach on the football field or basketball court, or something that you underwent while you were a part of a company. So, you work corporate. I've worked corporate as well, and a lot of times there's training, and so they may assign you to a coach to kind of help you learn the ropes and develop your skill set. So I kind of had it in a box. I kind of felt like that's the place where coaching lived. It lived inside of businesses or inside of sports, not thinking or knowing even that outside of that entrepreneurs themselves, that regular everyday people were getting coaches, like a life coach. I really didn't even know about that. I really honestly can't say it connected with me or resonated with me in that way. And it's interesting because I do have a background in psychology. That's what I majored in. So I saw that more like counseling than coaching. But
Mm-hmm.
a friend of mine kind of prompted me to think about it differently and shifted my perspective about it. I was helping her with some things related to her business, and that's something that I always would do. I don't know, I just have an innate ability. Can't even really pinpoint or describe it, but she was like, "You should do this. Like, you should help people. Like, you should be like a strategist or something." And so then it kind of like sparked something, and I started thinking and researching and looking at terms and strategists versus a consultant versus this or that. And I fell on coach. And so I was like, I think that's what it is. I think I'm a coach. I think that feels right to me, because a coach is the person who um gives you the game plan, you run the play, but they're on the sideline though. So after they've done their part, it's up to you to execute.
Mm.
And so I felt like that's what I wanted to be. I didn't want to do it for people. I wanted to be there to support people. I wanted to be their pusher. I wanted to be their spiritual or midwife, if you will. As one of my friends called me, the purpose doula. Like, I
Oh,
wanted to
yeah.
be the person that's kind of in the gap between their now and their next, because I didn't have that when I was going through my journey. So I wanted to be for other women, specifically what I didn't have when I needed it. So, but I made it, and so I'm here to be who I wish I had.
I love that. And I love the fact that number one, you used what was in your hand. A lot of times we are looking for who we never had, but that's what we step into. And I love how your gift made room for you. Because as you have been talking, what I'm threading together is that you had everything inside of you to already qualify you. And a lot of times we're looking for validations from others, we're looking for qualifications on a paper, but you were coaching before you were coaching. You were strategizing before you were strategizing.
Right.
Was supporting and pushing before the name was even there. And I absolutely love it. Now, there's I talk to you in real life, like
Yes.
outside of apps, right? And
Yes, you do.
so one of the things that I love about you, and you can share it in any facet, was a little bit of a story that you told me about, even as you've been moving and navigating in the corporate space, how your gifts made room for you. Sometimes we are looking for someone to give us something, but God has placed something down inside of us, and if we see a gap, we might very well be the solution to the issue. So expand on that in any way that you would like.
Yeah, that's actually a perfect segue into it. So, back in 2010, I would say, and I apologize if there's noise. It's like I'm right by the window and there's some work going on outside in front of my house that the city's doing. But back in 2010, was when I got the biggest push of my life. I'm gonna say that because I think throughout our lives we're being pushed, but there's a pivotal moment where you're literally shoved like really hard
Mhm.
into what it is God has called you to do. And for me, that happened in 2010. I had spent about 6 years, a little over 6 years in the corporate sector, working for a couple of different large corporations, and I was not very fulfilled. I did not like corporate life. I did not like cubicle life. I did not see the value or the impact that I was making in what I was doing. And I just wanted, really, really wanted more. And so one day I heard God, and it had to be God because I had no intention of going into education whatsoever. Um, God put it on me after I had my son, and then after Hurricane Katrina happened. Well, I had my son after Hurricane Katrina. Um, I started to get this feeling about our education system in New Orleans that was just so unsettling. And now, as a new mom, I have a bigger stake in it, right? Because eventually, my son would be a part of the public school system, and so I was not happy with what I was seeing, and I felt really disappointed because I had a very amazing education here in the city of New Orleans. Went to some of the top schools in the city. You know, had opportunities that a lot of brown girls, a lot of black children in general just didn't have. And I wanted to make sure that if New Orleans was going to continue to be home for me, that when my son got to the point where he would be in school, that that the education system would be better than it was. And so rather than just talk about it, I was like, I got to be about it. So I did my research and found a program that would allow me to go through certification of as an educator. And my mom was an educator. She's a veteran. She's retired now, but she was a speech therapist for many years as well as a classroom teacher. And that's one of the reasons why I ran from it so hard. You know, I did not want to be my mama, and that's not a bad thing. I just wanted to carve my own path. You know, I just didn't want to be like a carbon copy, like, oh, your mama teacher, that's why you're a teacher. And so but I felt this unction that I could not shake. And I think a lot of people know that feeling of something that you just cannot shake. And so I applied to school. I told my mom that I was doing it. She was not happy because she felt like education system wasn't the same. You know, she'd been a pro. She's been at it for 20, 30, almost 30 years. And so she was like, it ain't the same, baby. You know, and I'm like, I know, mom, but I just feel like I don't want to just stand on the sideline. I want to be involved. I want to do something. I want to teach. And so she was like, okay. And so I applied, I got accepted. That wasn't the issue. The issue came in how he, you know, kind of pushed me off the porch because my job at the time would not afford me a schedule change to make my night classes.
That's
And
that
so
push.
I quit my job. I I quit my job with no plan. Like I had no idea what I was going to do. I have a toddler, so he's still in daycare. Daycare, as you know, is expensive. It's like a whole car note and a mortgage
Oh
or what
yeah.
have you. It's a small apartment
Mhm.
to pay
The
for
whole
child
thing.
care. And that meant quitting my job meant I didn't have any money coming in. I didn't have any health insurance anymore. So I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do in that regard. Um, and I didn't know. I did not have a plan, but God had a plan. And so my mother cried when she found out I quit my job. She definitely was like, what are you doing? Like, I was like, I don't know, ma. I just feel like this was the right thing to do. And so I got a nice little separation deal from my job. They paid me. I was vested in the company, so I had enough money in that to sustain me for about 2 months without having to go rush out to find like a full time job. And they paid me for my time off, but eventually that money ran out because once I did start working, I was just working temp jobs, substitute teaching, just doing whatever I could to get by, literally anything I could do. I humbled myself, and some
Mhm.
people don't want to do that on this journey because it feels like you're taking a step backward. And you're like, God, you took me from making 40, plus $1,000 a year to making less than what I was making in college. And I
Yeah.
have a child and I have a degree and I live at home with my mama. Like, what in the world are you doing, God? But I looked at that as my slingshot moment.
Mm.
I looked at that as the moment where he had to pull me back to propel me forward. And
I can see
so,
that, Kris. Oh wow.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, because I was at this level, at 20 something years old, making 40 some $1,000 a year in New Orleans was a pretty good, that was pretty sweet, you know, full
Yeah.
benefits. It was pretty sweet gig.
Yeah.
But to go from that to making maybe $10,000 a year,
Yeah.
maybe that was a slingshot moment. He pulled me all the way back. Like I had never not made that. Like I made that kind of money in working at the bookstore and high
Yeah.
in college. Like I was literally there was no income. Um, but he sustained me. He sustained me, and I can't really explain how it all worked out. I can only say but God. I can't tell you where the money was really coming from because I paid every bill, never late, never had nothing repossessed, like nothing. He just sustained me. And granted, of course, I know there was help from family, of
Yeah.
course, but that wasn't $30,000 worth of help to
Right.
kind of replace what I had lost. It wasn't that. It was the help that they could provide, but it still wasn't that much. I know it could have only been by the grace of God that I was able to stay afloat during that season. But that season taught me so much about my purpose and how it made me more passionate about what I do now. I reflect on it often with gratitude, not regret, um because once I stepped into my purpose, that season of purpose, and I like to say that because I believe that we go through seasons of
Mhm.
purpose where we're purposed for one thing at one time and then we shift and we're purposed for something else at another time. um but I stepped into that season of purpose and it activated something in me. um it activated my faith on a whole nother level because I literally had nothing but my faith to lean on during that time. And so throughout my journey as an educator, I continued to faith my way to the top.
Mm.
And so what I did, and this is not a brag, but this is a straight up boast in the Lord. What I did in 11 years as an educator is pretty unheard of. And I say 11 because I started my journey in 2010. I wasn't actually full time in the classroom until 2012. It took me about 2 years to get my own position in the classroom. And from that point forward, I kept faithing my way into opportunities. So I encourage people like leverage your skill set, figure out how you can stand out from the majority. Don't just blend in wherever you are. I don't care if your purpose is to work in a corporate environment and get to the top level of your company. Don't blend in. Do whatever you got to do. Initiate um your own promotion if you have to. Like study, learn new skills independently. Don't wait for the company to just offer you the opportunity. Step out on your own and do it for yourself because you can leverage that and you can add to your value. And that's what I did. I started integrating technology in my classroom. I started really getting into it and really started sharing it with other staff members and then became kind of a resident go-to person when it comes to technology. And so after being in the classroom as a classroom teacher for about 7 years, um, I went and knocked on the door. I knocked on the door, my principal's door, at the school I was at the time. It's my current school, as a matter of fact. I had only been there about 2 years. And I said, listen, I see a need, I see a gap. And here it is, like, there it is. I'm filling the gap, right? I saw a gap. I saw a place where they needed more support. And I knew that what I could do was fill that gap. And so I went with boldness, with confidence, knocked on that door. I prayed about it before I did. And I said, listen, I'm not sure if this is something that's happening, in the works already, but I want to let you all know I desire to move into a role that's more around integration of technology and supporting the tech program here at the school, because it still was a very new school, if you will. And the principal said to me, well, that's not in the budget right now, but we'll keep that in mind. We'll see what we can do. Maybe we can work your schedule around to be able to allow you to have some more off periods so you can kind of support that, but we don't really have it in the budget. And so when you said that God made room, that's the prayer that's what I heard one day driving home.
Mhm.
I heard that so clear that God was going to make room for my gift. And I kept repeating that to myself in my spirit out loud. I would be driving, literally like, God is going to make room for my gift. God is going to make room for my gift. And then 2 months later, I was handed the opportunity. Um, and it was handed directly to me.
Amen.
There was no internal search. And I know, in corporate, a lot of times when
Yeah.
the position opens up, they announce it throughout the company. Hey, we have this opening. If anyone's interested, before they seek outside the company.
Hmm.
That never happened with my position. It was literally handed to me. So 2 months later, God made room in the budget
Jesus.
for me. And so I continued having this big, big, big faith, and faith in myself, and from technology manager to director
Wow.
over the course of 4 years. So this is my fourth year as in this role, but I've of course been promoted. My title change has my name changed, right? A
Amen.
couple of times in the process, along with my salary.
Okay, so let me ask you this, right? Because this is like freaking me out. So
Yes.
you mean to tell me that a young lady from New Orleans that went to school and majored in psychology, that happened to have a beautiful baby of her life, that went to a job one day because she felt like there was a broken system and she wanted to support it, even though she had been running away from the educational system all of her life, now goes into the company to try to get a switch change. That's not approved. And she says, you know what? I'm going to give you my notice now.
Yep.
To go back home to mama and say, Mama, oh my God, this is what I did. And mama says, oh my gosh, I want my baby to be taken care of. That went the slingshot. God brought her all the way back. Now you got to get out of the driver's seat to get into the passenger seat so you can let him drive. That knew that God was her source and that he would make provision and resources. That never went late, never went without, and was always sustained. That went back to get the certifications because something was pushing her towards purpose. That goes into the school, fits in where she can get in, sees a gap. God takes a gift and a talent and a skill that He's given her that she has not gone to school for.
No,
She
I don't
begins
have a
to
tech background. No.
she begins to incorporate the gift, the passion, the talent that God has given her to insert it and integrate it into the educational system. That says, I'm not going to wait. I'm going to go and see if this is an opportunity myself, and puts a position before her boss. Then continues because she knows that God's put something inside of her to confess, and her confession of faith is that my gifts will make room for me. To then some months later, y'all, this is a whole timeline.
Yes,
I listen, it's a whole timeline.
it's
To
real.
then, yeah, it's real. To then say, you know what? There's a position with your name on it because you are the person that goes through yet again more name changes and titles and promotions. Yay, yay, yay to the wealth and income.
Yes.
Then to then say, you know what, I am doing all of that, and I've been coaching the whole time, and now I'm really getting ready to pivot and shift into my journey.
Yes.
Kris, that is a testimony.
Yeah.
I need for you to talk to anybody that is listening to this live that is on the verge of a brink of a breakthrough,
Mm-hmm.
but facing an obstacle that they feel is unbearable and they want to quit. Can you push them a little bit to
I
keep,
can.
to keep going?
Listen, stay the course. I can't tell you how many times, I'm not going to tell you, rather, that it's not going to be hard. I'm not going to tell you that my journey was all smiles and I felt like God was with me the whole time. I knew He was with me, but I didn't always feel like He was with me, if that makes sense. There were seasons during this journey where I was like, okay, God, when? When? When, God? Like, I'm trusting you, but when? I can't. I'm married now and I got a son. Like, cause I ended up getting married through this whole journey. I got my master's, got married. Um, Even while being married, was still struggling financially because I was not making that much money. And by that point, I was maybe at $22,000 a year, married with a child. Now I'm not in mama's house no more, right? I'm in an apartment. Um, Praying that the lights are on. Praying, going by my mama to eat because I really didn't have enough to put food in the pantry, but my mama fed us. And so kind of like using that as a an excuse to, when really I just couldn't afford food, that not that much food. So she would cook. She don't know how to cook small. You know how, if you, I don't know if you have a mama like that can cook small. And so for her living by herself, she's like, I can't cook small. I done cooked the pot of red beans. Y'all gonna have to come over here and eat this. And so I was like, thank you, Jesus. Because I mean, we were gonna be eating sandwiches if or cereal if mama didn't say, come eat these beans, right? And so stay the course. Trust God with your whole entire being. And do not, for any reason, lean to your own understanding. Because it didn't make sense. Nothing that I was going through made any sense. Me working at I'm like, I have a degree, God. Like, come on. Like, me working at temp agencies, me substitute teaching, me working as a teaching assistant. I literally climbed my way. I didn't just jump and be like, oh, classroom teacher. No, no, no. I went through the ranks. I was a sub. I was a teaching assistant. I was a co-teacher. I got my own classroom. I became a lead teacher. I became a mentor teacher. Just continuing to claw and climb and trust God the whole time. Just trusting him and trusting him and trusting him. And this may sound a little harsh, but I was obligating God to bless me because I was so faithful, because I was believing. Like, I was believing. I was like, God, you gotta bless me. Like, there's no way I could be faithing like this and you not bless me. Like, come on, God, you have to do this. And he did. And so I know for some people it may seem off-putting, but in certain, you have to obligate God to bless you. You have to be in the right position. And how do we do that? Get in right position, right posture, and pray. Posture, position, and prayer obligates God to bless you. We don't serve the kind of God that would have you do all of that and still be like, nah, I ain't gonna do it.
All
When
right,
you are
Jacob,
right,
go ahead and
look,
wrestle, Jacob. You gotta
listen,
bless me.
wrestled here. When you know within every fiber of your being that I'm in right position, I'm in right posture, and I am praying, God is obligated to bless you. He's obligated to do it, and he loves to do it. And when he does it, get ready for the overflow. When he does it, it's going to exceed your expectations. When he does it, it's going to knock your socks off for real. And he's knocked my socks. I don't even like to wear socks, y'all, because I be like, God gonna knock my socks off any day now. So I ain't gonna even wear no socks. So you don't have that to worry about. Just do it, God. Blow my mind. And he's blown my mind. Like, when I like hearing you replay what I shared was like, that's my real life.
That's
That's my
you.
real life. Like, and that's with so much other hell going on. Health scares, um, miscarriage, health scares for my husband, health scares for me with colon cancer, just all of that happening while God was still working, right?
Mm.
And still just saying, God blow my mind. God blow my mind, please. Like,
Kris, hold up. Can you do a whole room the next time? You're gonna have to do a room called Working While Waiting because
woo,
no, I'm dead serious
yeah,
because people don't even know that other part of it around what you had to endure from a personal aspect. And a lot of times people will look at there are two concepts for me. Either they will judge you from what they knew when your name
mhm.
was Abram, or they will look at you now and not fully understand the process that it took to get you there and the process it is to maintain it and to sustain it. So you are a true working while waiting example and testimony. Okay, I just had to say that because I'm
Yeah,
just blowing my mind.
yeah. And you never really know how God is setting you up because he doesn't show us everything. He
Yeah.
can't. Because if he did that, some of us would run. If he
Mhm.
showed us all the hell we were gonna have to endure, like he showed, it's funny because I feel like he showed me like this, like where I am now, like you're gonna get there, girl, but didn't show me all the hell. But I was so excited about getting there when the hell started happening. I was like, wait. And you sure I'm getting there,
Mhm.
y'all? Because this is a lot of hell. And he was like, yeah, I couldn't tell you that part because if I had to tell you that your marriage was gonna almost fall apart, you was gonna have a miscarriage, you was gonna get cancer, your husband was gonna start having seizures, you was gonna have eviction notices on your door, you might have not wanted to do this with me.
Mhm.
You might have not wanted to rock with me like that. You might have been like, nah, God, I'm gonna just stay at this little insurance company and sit in this cubicle. I'm
Mhm.
good. Because I know my lights is on, I know my car no, like I could have settled. I could have settled for safe.
Mm.
I could have settled right then. If he had showed me all the hell, I could have said, nah, I'm good. I'm good. I ain't gonna do that. But I couldn't settle for safe. I couldn't settle for safe. And that not settling for safe has been the most amazing thing I could have ever done. And so I don't settle for safe anymore. I do the thing that makes other people go, why are you doing all of that? Because I
Mhm.
don't settle for safe. You show I don't settle for safe. That's why. Because I know that I serve a God that can do exceedingly abundantly above all I could even ask, think, or pray
Come on,
for.
Kris.
So I don't settle for safe. I do the risky thing, even if it means falling on my face,
Mhm.
because I want God to know I trust Him that much. Like I believe that much. I have that much faith that I will do something crazy. Crazy faith. I have it.
Face to face.
I have it. I have it. And when I say that, I'm gonna give this example. The house I'm living in was a crazy faith. I used to drive
Mhm.
past this house before I was even when I was dating my husband, before I even switched into education. I used to drive past this house and I saw a for sale sign on it. And for whatever reason, this house just caught my eye. It's not anything, it's not a mansion, but something about this house
It's
just caught
amazing
my eye.
because God gave it to you.
Yeah. And so it just would catch my eye every time I would drive down this street because I live on a pretty major street where I'm at. And I would say that's gonna be my house. That's gonna be my house. Every time I would pass it, something in my spirit would just keep saying, that's gonna be my house. I don't even know why. There's a ton of houses I could have felt that way about. I could have drove past mansions and been like, that's gonna be my house. But it was something about this little house, right? And so I saw a for sale sign one day, and then the next day was gone. And I saw, like, a couple of weeks later, I saw the U-Haul pull up, and I was like, somebody moving in. But that's gonna be my house. Like, what kind of audacity do you have to believe that a house that somebody else is living in, that somebody else just moved into, is still going to be your house? And so, because I faithed it, because so hard because I was so crazy in my faith because I trusted God so much.
Mm.
He aligned this house according to the purpose that was on my life because this house became available after I started teaching as a part of HUD's Good Neighbor Next Door program,
Wow.
which is specifically reserved for teachers, firefighters, EMS workers, and I think nurses.
Wow.
So the career move that he made aligned me for a real estate transaction.
I love it.
Ain't that gangster? Like
Good.
God is so dope like that. That's what I mean when I say the exceedingly abundantly. I wasn't even thinking about this house like I got to do this because I'm trying to get this house. I just like the house. I wasn't thinking about I got to be a teacher because if I'm a teacher, then I can get this house. I didn't even know about the program until after I had started my journey. And I was always, look in the house in the market for a house. And I found out about this program. And you being in real estate, you probably look through some of these type of homes that are,
Mhm.
foreclosures
Yeah.
or HUD government properties for investors. And so the list can be pretty skimpy,
Oh
y'all.
yeah.
And when it came to this particular program, the list was even shorter.
Mm.
I would go out with my broker and there would be maybe only 3 houses that fit the profile for the program. And this house was one of them. Like, that's bananas. 3 houses. Like most people, if you're just doing a normal real estate transaction, you might have your pick of the litter. You might see 10,
Mhm.
20 houses. I would be so discouraged sometimes, Sean, because I'd be like, dang, no houses are on this program. Like, where are the houses at for this program? There'd be, 3 houses. One will be like in a hood somewhere. I was like, I don't want to be in the hood. One might be,
Wow.
in the country. One
Yeah.
might be, close, but not quite fitting everything I wanted. And I was like, God, like, how am I finding a house on this program? But even that, I'm living in a testimony. I'm living in a testimony. I'm living in my prayer. I live inside of my prayer, in my
Mm.
declaration. Like I get to walk around inside of a thing that I prayed, like I literally called out and claimed and declared and decreed that it was going to be mine. I
So
spoke
you
that thing that was not as though it was.
so you mean to tell me that he put the desires in your heart. He'll give you the desires of your heart. He gave you
Like
the desire to go into education. The house that you're living in, he gave you a desire to pray for that. And then the place that he put you at afforded the opportunity for you to get the house that you prayed. Look how strategic God is.
it's a setup, Sean. It's a
Set up.
setup. And that's why we have to really tap in. Like we really got to connect with him because when you get in the throne room with him and he
Mm.
reveals like the secrets, it's like your brain explodes. I
Yeah.
feel like my brain explodes just telling my story and thinking about it because I'm like, I had some audacity. Where did that come from? But then I also use that as my fuel. So
Mm.
anytime I get discouraged, anytime start to waver in my faith, I'd be like, he did it before, he'll do it again. He did it before, he'll do it again. He'll do it
Come
even
on.
bigger than he did it the last time. Like I faith my way into this house. Ain't no way I can't faith myself into the next one. Ain't no way I can't faith myself into my next level. Ain't no way because he did it before, he can do it again. And so that's my fuel. That's my strategy. That's where all of this comes from. That's where this pushing into purpose comes from. It comes from the fact that I have seen it for myself. I've lived it. I'm living in it.
Yeah.
I'm lived it and I'm living in it. That when you are purposeful and intentional and you don't waver and you stay the course and you trust God,
Hmm.
there is literally nothing He won't do for you. He gave me a house that I had prayed for before I even shifted into education. And he gave me the house. So I got the whole shebang. Like I got the job, I got the house. He did it. He did it. Not me. He did it.
Kris, girl, listen. I feel like we're gonna have a whole after party. Oh my goodness. This is what I want to ask you because First of all, you have tremendously blessed my life. You have re-energized me. You've really set me on a path of thinking about purpose and being intentional. I love you to life, and what I love the most about you is like this is who you are in real life.
Yeah.
We kind of halfway talked about like we're going to be featuring women. You're going to be kicking off the series, but this conversation is such a transparent conversation, and these are the conversations that when people encounter you, they get to experience firsthand and so much more. So I number one want to thank you for the opportunity to just share your story, to experience you in real life, to see the legacy that you are living. Like you don't even know when you speak how it impacts so many people around you, and how your story I know is blessing someone now and someone who will listen to the replay. My last question for you, and I'm going to preface it with something. So Kris, the purpose pusher, is multifaceted.
Yes.
We call her Techie with the awesome hair.
Definitely.
She is an author. She is a coach. She is a career woman. She is a mother. She's a wife. She's a sister. She is a friend. And one of the things that I love is that I get to share spaces with people who are so brilliant. And you've encouraged me to live on purpose and to start moving into my coaching space, right, around mindsets and behaviors and wealth. But this is one thing that I do know. And what I absolutely believe, I am a kingdom connector. And so for me, because there are like 8 billion people in the world, as I'm sharing my space, I want to make sure that I am bringing individuals in that when other people hear and see and experience you, they can say, I've been looking for her. So if I can use my platform to expose people to other people that people have been looking for, I am absolutely going to do that. And I am very intentional and on purpose about that. Like, I hope you can feel it. So, Kris, can you tell people what you have going on by way of your coaching programs, things that you're doing, where they can find you, and how they can connect to you? Because I believe by you sharing your story, it is going to resonate with someone, and they have been looking for you.
Yes. Well, thank you so much, Sean. I feel full just knowing that I've inspired you, because I look up to you like a big sister. So like I'm like, oh my God. So, and when you said that you were launching your program, I was over the moon. Like I was like, oh my God, she's gonna make a dope coach.
Look, and then I
So
was like, I get to be surrounded by Kris because she's going to help me on the journey.
yes, it's so dope. But so what is going on? So first of all, my coaching business underwent a name change and transformation just last year. Transitioning from my name, Kristen Pate, to She Births Purpose. Did that for several reasons. For one, I wanted to build a personal brand as Kris the Purpose Pusher, a speaker, a motivational speaker, a coach, and an author. But I wanted She Births Purpose to be more of my legacy, the thing that I can leave, right? Because when I'm gone, I'm not saying that people won't be able to go back and read my books and hear my speeches, but that's me, that's Kristen. But She Births Purpose is forever. It's meant for to help the new and the aspiring woman entrepreneur, um, specifically that woman, for several reasons. Because in my own journey, I've seen rather that there's not a lot there for the people who are just starting. There's not a lot of encouragement for the ones who are just starting, who are just recognizing, just waking up to who God has called them to be as marketplace ministers and kingdom builders. So I wanted to talk to that woman. I wanted to be there for that woman. I wanted to coach that woman who's right on the brink, right on the edge of walking into her greatest moment of destiny.
Mm,
And so that's where She Births Purpose. The name, of course, is kind of obvious, because in part also because I had this fresh revelation from God that women, all purpose in this world has to come through a woman. No one was born on this earth without a woman birthing them. And so when we think about the people who we view as greats and icons in the world, like Oprah and Beyonce and Nelson Mandela, there was a mother that birthed that person. There was a woman that person came through. And so when you really think about that as a woman, it's so empowering to realize that all the purpose in this earth, all the amazing things that people have been able to accomplish to literally shift the lives of millions of people came through a woman,
Mm.
was in the womb of some woman out there. It's pretty amazing when you think about it. It's pretty amazing to think about what we can birth as women, what our children can become as people, and that we hold that life inside of our womb at some point in time. We hold that life. And so it's just amazing to me. So I changed the name to She Births Purpose. So um, that's my coaching business. There I have a mastermind and accountability group coaching program that I have some amazing ladies in right now called Birth and Build. And that's titled appropriately because I believe that we first have to birth it to build it. A lot of people are trying to do it the other way. They're trying to build it all up and then push it out. And really, God is the author and the finisher. So you kind of got to push that thing out in this almost incomplete state for Him
Mhm.
to be able to link arms with you in building that thing. So it's Birth and Build. That's my group coaching program. And we have it's a year long year long um 9 set themed sessions, so it's kind of a different spin on the mastermind. So every 9 weeks we focus in on a very specific area. And so first 9 weeks, which we're still in right now, we'll be wrapping up this month, was all about having a strong start. The second session, which starts on March 31st, is called Dig Deeper. Because once you start it and you feel good, a lot of times that momentum can shift really
Oh
quick.
yeah.
You hit that high, and it's easy for it to feel like, you're dropping down so fast. So that's the point where we need to start to dig a little bit deeper, um, while we still have that energy and that momentum going. And so Dig Deeper starts on March 31st. Um, I'm opening up 2 slots, but if the Holy Spirit guides me or leads me to say, you know what, nope, just be with who you have, then I will be obedient to that. Additionally, I will be publishing my first book really, really soon. I'm so excited. I actually have a printed out copy right here because I just wanted to go through and do some final read through and edits. But this book is um it's a labor. It's not just, it's for me too. That's the thing about this book.
Mhm.
I know I wrote it, but I wrote it for me too. It feels to me like you're getting a peek inside of a journal of just a downloads that God showed me. And so although I'm writing this book and sharing it with others, I know I will find myself rereading these words myself over the course of my life to remind me of the power that lies within our mouth.
Mm.
And so this is the cover. This is, the paper version.
I love it.
It's called The Power of the Ask. And it's petitioning God in prayer and other reflections. It was inspired by our time in Tampa on the Tampa tour with the Crazy Courageous Confidence Club. And that was just such a spiritual awakening for me. I don't know how it was for you, but it shifted something in me. And God prompted me to write just this book started out as just a 2-page reflection
Mm.
on my experience, and a friend, a destiny helper,
Yes.
said that needs to be a book. And I was like, what? Because I mean, I write and I love writing poetry and things growing up, but I was like, write a book, I don't know. And so she's like, that should be a book. There's so much in there that you can elaborate on. There's so many nuggets in there. And so with the prompting, with that push, once again, in the prompting of the Holy Spirit and prayers from Mama D and Sean, I wrote The Power of the Ask, which will be my first of many books, I hope. And just sharing with you all, this book is actually dedicated to the ladies of the Crazy Courageous Confidence Club because it would not exist if not for that moment. And so this book is dedicated to all of you. And who might be listening on this on the live or the replay. I love y'all. Y'all my sisters for real, for real.
For real, for
Like I hugged y'all neck hard in Tampa. Like I hugged Sean's neck hard. I was so excited to actually see her in the flesh. Um, but yeah, that's what I'm working on. Those are the two things that I'm really focused in on right now is preparing to launch this book and the group coaching, which is going really, really well. The ladies are just they're amazing and they're getting so much out of it. So that's all I could ever ask for is that people get what they came from, what they came for, rather. So
Kris, I love you to life. Again, I'm just sitting here like eating it all up. I'm soaking it in. You are so amazing. And the themes, I hope you are recognizing them because you remember I tell you, I listen for Revelation, name changes, crazy faith, purpose, destiny, pushing, and birthing to execute and to obtain. And I absolutely love that. I will be sharing out various links. Kris is amazing. So if you are on Clubhouse, you need to follow her. She has amazing rooms that she does throughout the week. You can also find her simultaneously. She is on Instagram. It's so good to me. Like I jump over in Instagram and I'm in Clubhouse so that I can hear part of the conversation and like see her face and her in action. She's here on Facebook and she's doing so many amazing things. And the crazy part about it is we haven't even seen what is to come. So I love you so much. I love you to life. Continue to walk in greatness. Continue to soar. You are making an impact. And
thank
on
you.
March the 8th in the Crazy Courageous Confidence Club for International Women's Day, Kris will be speaking. I will be featured as a speaker as well. Join that club, follow it. But listen, if you need a push in your life, Kris the Purpose Pusher is right here for you. So, Kris, any last words as we depart before we wave out?
Yeah, just don't stop. Whatever you do, whatever if you know that you've heard the Lord and he's prompting you, it doesn't matter what everyone else is going to say. You're going to have those people. Just don't stop. As I tell people, my ending words when I end my show is to push purposely towards your purpose. Like do it on purpose. Do it with intention. Do it with everything in you. Because when you give it all to him, he'll give it all to you.
On that note, we are just going to wave out because she just sealed the deal. Please place in the chat if you enjoyed this. I encourage you to share it out. And if you want Kris back for a part two, or you want her to kind of host a coaches circle in some of this space, or whatever it is, I'm just kind of throwing it out there, Kris. Please let us know. But I love you to life, Kris. We're going to wave out now. And thank you so much for being amazing.
Thank you for having me.
All
Bye.
right, waving off. Bye.